Well, a lot has happened regarding the Lamar Jackson situation. This is really an unprecedented situation. We've never seen a MVP quarterback this young be on the trading block. That just never happened. I mean, one of the situations that I think about would be the Deshaun Watson move, but obviously that was just so different. I guess you could argue it wasn't that different, just in the sense of Deshaun Watson did request a trade before all of the allegations came out, but still, shortly after the allegations came out, and then it became this whole other thing. Lamar Jackson has no allegations. Lamar Jackson has seemingly been a model citizen with the Baltimore Ravens. He has played very well. Maybe he hasn't always been an MVP caliber player, but he has always been a quality player for the Baltimore Ravens, and usually those players get paid big money. We just saw Daniel Jones get paid $40 million a year for 4 years. Lamar Jackson has yet to get his contract, which is just unusual. Now, of course, there's several things. There's, to talk about how he doesn't have an agent, which we will get into, but let's just kind of first talk about what we know and what we don't know right now. And we're going to start with one of the more recent things that has come out, which was a tweet about Lamar Jackson, a tweet by Lamar Jackson about how he has requested a trade. It reads this, which is a letter to my fans. I wanted to first thank you for all the love and support you consistently show towards me. All of you are amazing. I appreciate y'all so much. I want to let you all know to not believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions. In regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization, for which the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. And anyone that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. You were all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to my fans of Baltimore Flock Nation and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again. So several things to note here. For one thing, I thought it was very classy that he remembered the fans in all of this. I think that sometimes when these situations get messy, the fans are the ones who really get screwed. They're the ones who suffer from a situation like this. They love Lamar Jackson. They have jerseys with number 8 on the back of them because of their love for Lamar Jackson. So now seeing all this stuff happen is very disappointing. So I like that Lamar Jackson didn't forget about them and mentioned to them that he does feel sorry that they are in this position, but and he doesn't want them to be in this position, and yet they are. Another thing that is worth noting here, though, kind of the most important detail, I think, is that he says that when he requested a trade, it was March 2nd. So we're talking nearly a month ago at this point that the trade request officially happened. So this was, some people said, hey, you don't have to request a trade because, you currently are on the non-exclusive tag. Another team can just sign you, but two things worth noting there. For one, the trade request happened before he was put on the non-exclusive tag. And two, the issue with that is whichever team offers a contract, the Ravens have the opportunity to match that. Whereas if it is just a straight up trade and then they rework the deal from that point, that would be different because then the team, there's no threat of a match situation happening. And maybe Lamar knows, hey, if I get this money, I don't care if the Ravens keep me or if, the team I sign keeps me. But still, there's just those things worth noting. But this is also, I think the question does kind of become how much money is Lamar after? How much money are the Ravens offering him? And there's been some conflicting reports on that, but I think we actually do have an answer. So it was this kind of, these tweets were definitely very fascinating, where it was actually a quote tweeted by, an article by Baltimore Beatdown, who referenced that Schefter said Lamar turned down $200 million guaranteed deal back in September. So that was, something that was said by Schefter, but Lamar Jackson then quote tweeted someone else reporting on what Schefter had tweeted, with first a gif of a guy wearing a lot of caps, obviously referring to cap, so saying that he thinks it's a lie, and then he posts underneath it, 133 for 3 years, fully guaranteed, but I need an agent, ? So saying that the deal was about $77 million guaranteed, less than what Schefter had reported, but it seems like there's actually a little bit of things lost in the weeds here. This was in the article where it says, Chris Morstein and I reported on this last September when Lamar was offered a deal that he turned down, a deal that included at the time he was offered $133 million due at signing. Schefter said $133 million guaranteed. The contract also had guarantees that brought the guarantees to, also had injury guarantees that brought the guarantees to $175 million, and it had a springing guarantee that could have brought the value for the contract, the guaranteed money of the contract, to $200 million in guarantees. And yes, those were the actual numbers, and that was the situation. So those really were the guarantees for Lamar Jackson. So this now kind of means that the truth is kind of somewhere in the middle here, where, for one thing, if it's $200 million in guarantees, I don't know how much is non-guaranteed, and I also don't know if this is the exact same contract that Lamar was referring to. Well, the fact that they were both $133 million numbers involved, that leads me to believe it could be the case, but, also, $200 million potentially for 3 years would be a ton of money. So I'm probably, I would probably assume that there was an extra year in there, would be my guess. Maybe a 4th year that was not guaranteed or something along those lines. But again, that's completely speculation by my part. We don't know that. But what we do know is that, this kind of says, okay, well, there's kind of truth to both comments. The injury guarantees mean that it would be $175 million, and then there's something called a springing guarantee, which is essentially a guarantee but with a stipulation, from what I understand. I'm not a lawyer. I don't fully understand if that's exactly what it is, but I don't know what the stipulation would be either. So it's impossible to tell how much of that $25 million should be included in the guarantees. To me, the $133 million is the guaranteed money. That's what it is. Yes, there's other ways to get money added onto it that would be guaranteed, but that does not necessarily make it guaranteed. To me, guaranteed money is what, if you get cut the first day of your contract, how much money you would get, and that's $133 million. So to me, that is, the number that I would value, and I think Lamar Jackson is, if it was 3 years, that would be a little bit more fair, which would, again, be a bit on the low side for a player of his caliber, although still a very large sum of money and not, crazy. Obviously, part of, I think, what comes into this is Deshaun Watson got significantly more than what Lamar is claiming he was offered. But again, we don't know all the details exactly of the contract. We know some of the details of the contract, but we don't know all the details. And part of what I think hurts this situation even more is Lamar Jackson's lack of having an agent. Not to say, again, I'm sure Lamar's a smart guy. I'm sure he knows what he's doing and has read up on all this stuff. But the reality is you have people who have devoted their lives to knowing this stuff. And maybe there's a situation where, hey, I'm just speculating here, but maybe kind of the injury guarantees and the springing guarantee were actually not that outrageous of things, but because Lamar Jackson just, isn't a professional agent, maybe didn't fully agree with those things the way an agent might. That's just total speculation. I don't know. But the reality is, this is probably why having an agent is a good thing. Yes, you have to pay an agent fee, but the reality is you get someone else who can negotiate this stuff for you, and maybe they could have found, a price at a certain point, and also it kind of just makes the relationship better, right? This way, Lamar Jackson isn't the bad guy to the Ravens front office. The agent is the bad guy to the Ravens front office, and Lamar Jackson doesn't have to hear negative things being said about him by the Ravens front office. He doesn't have to hear about his, play style could result in injuries and that, his passing hasn't been spectacular. The agent hears it, and then the agent can rebuttal while Lamar Jackson's not in the room, and that's sometimes better for both parties involved. And I think that if he did have an agent, maybe this thing would have gone smoother, especially just given the fact that the Ravens are a front office that we typically expect to be good and to be smart with this stuff. They've been a very smart front office, and it does feel like the issue isn't that either side is being evil or wrong or foolish, but more so there's just the communication area here, which is probably what's causing a lot of these hiccups, which, if you're a Ravens fan, might be a good thing because it is not a guarantee that Lamar Jackson goes. As people have brought up, Ray Lewis once demanded a trade from the Baltimore Ravens. It does happen, but still, not a great situation if you're a Ravens fan, probably. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.